Hey there, I hope you're having a great day. So I want to talk about what's happening on my channel and what to expect going into the new year. The first adventure of Fables of Aeda, Curse of Amity Island, is now mostly finished. They're almost all up. You can start binging the show and get ready to watch the finale that's coming. Curse of Amity Island is a Jaws-inspired D&D fantasy adventure, and there are more coming. There are more already played and filmed. Every episode is edited. We cut down 4 to 6 hour sessions to 1 hour long episodes. We add music, we add sound effects, and we're constantly editing, making sure that it's a cinematic experience. Whether you want to just listen to it in the car, totally great. It sounds good. If you want to watch it, it's appealing to watch, especially if you have ADHD. It's perfect for you. There was a lot of lessons learned in the early episodes of Curse of Amity Island that I'm applying to making the show better and better and better every episode that comes out. So it just keeps improving. If the highly cinematic edited version is not your jam, the uncut version of the session that we played is available on Patreon with music and sound effects, not as highly designed as the edited one, but it's still there. And if you want to see how much work we actually put into the editing, watching the uncut and the edited together, you really do appreciate how much work is going into this channel and this show. Let's talk about my talking videos, the videos that look like this, but where I give Dungeons and Dragons advice and talk about DMing, my journey as a dungeon master, my journey as a player, the things I like, the passion about the hobby, the homebrews, or my complaints about rules, and talking solo videos. I like to use the word bulking. I'm currently bulking and building a library of those videos to release regularly on a schedule that you can enjoy and rely on. A big issue in the past has been jumping between making the games, making videos to supplement the fact that I'm not releasing the games because I'm busy making the games and I'm too exhausted to do both. So for the rest of this month, I am writing and shooting and editing every single day more videos. I have a workflow, I have an inspiration, a muse. I am good to go and I am pumping them out. And if you're a backer, you're gonna be getting mountains of early access videos really soon, because my plan is for these videos to come out 2-3 times a month throughout the entire 2024 schedule. On top of those videos, Chris, who plays the Red Dwarf Hallig on Curse of Amity Island, he and I have started a podcast on this channel called The Lore of Aeda. Aeda is my world where Curse of Amity Island and other adventures are going to take place in. My style of DMing and the editing that we do to the show, we don't leave a lot of room for talking deep about the lore, because I am a big fan of heroic fantasy. All the world building and everything is built on the back of the choices of the main characters and the actions that the main characters go through their adventure. So it's not very much high fantasy where Tolkien gets to talk about the trees and many other genre building ideas. Lore of Aeda is where Chris grills me on my world building, grills me on my lore, and every episode we talk about a unique thing. The first episode is going to be talking about how I redesigned dwarves for D&D and created the Red Dwarf. The second episode is going to take place about what's under the ocean in my world, because the ocean is huge, it's vast. You know, in Curse of Amity Island, we are playing a Jaws game, so there's a lot of oceanic things that are brewing under the ocean. And the goal is to maybe have 1 to 2 of those episodes every single month for the next year. And on top of having a couple Dungeons and Dragons solo videos coming out every month, that gives me the freedom to not worry about chasing the views. Oh, I gotta hurry up and make another video. I have better control over my mental health while producing more videos and talking about the thing I love. And it also opens up the door for more videos to be made rather than making 1 video a month and only talking about one thing. I've already have 2 videos lined up talking about something I'm interested in, and something happens that month. Great, I will make a 3rd video for that month as well. On top of all that, now that I've moved in, it's been a couple months, and as many backers and viewers of this channel have experienced, the live streams, those weekly live streams of me crafting and painting, such as like crafting these bridges, these dungeon bridges, where I cut and glued every single brick back onto this model. And then I start painting them to get them looking even cooler. It's not even done yet, by the way. Or how I'm working on terrain for the next big adventure, Dante's Peak. Look at that goop. Look at that lava goop I made. Looks so good. We finally found the right camera position, the right place in the apartment where I can do my painting and crafting. And it's easy now to stream it once a week, twice a week. Typically, we're staying with, hey, Tuesdays. I'm gonna aim for around 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, unless something comes up where I can't stream, where I notify my followers on our public Discord, on Patreon, and YouTube community. Then on weekends, when an episode of Fables of Aeoda, or Curse of Amity Island, or Dante's Peak doesn't come out, I will be streaming that weekend as well, 10 a.m. on that Sunday. Pacific. Everything I'm working on the stream, crafting and painting, are things that can be seen in the adventure episodes. For example, this lava rock. This is going to make an appearance in Dante's Peak. Go watch Dante's Peak if you know what I mean. I'm working on frost rocks, grass rocks, desert rocks.
From the pebbles on the beach to the cobbles in the streets, every stone that you can see will teach you rocks rock.
I'm building houses. I'm building shops, cabins, windmills. I'm going to be repainting some of my minis to really customize them and personalize them, especially because of my world building is getting more and more real. It's coming to life. I want a lot of my minis to resemble some of the lore that's hidden in the game. And speaking of backers, if you want to become a YouTube member, all you have to do is sign up at the $1 tier and you get the emojis and stickers for the live chat. And at any tier as a YouTube member, you do get cool roles and icons on the Discord. I do put a priority on Patreon over YouTube members solely because YouTube takes a massively larger cut of your support than Patreon does. Patreon as a platform and app is becoming more user-friendly and creator-friendly. After Curse of Amity Island, what's the next adventure? Well, we have 2 one-shots, and a one-shot is a game that you just play in a single sitting. Each one's going to be about, I'm going to try to make each one a single episode. That would be cool as hell, but probably is going to be around 2 to 3 episodes each. Both of these one-shots were shot in spur of the moment and full pure excitement and inspiration. The first one-shot is a wintry exploration that has very Indiana Jones, National Treasure, especially the first scene in National Treasure where they go to the North Pole. Very much that. It's called The Lost Mind of the Colossals. The Colossals. And it's played between me, Allie, Jordy, Mina, and Dale Kingsmill from Monarch Factory. The second one-shot is another wintry one. We were inspired by Halloween, called The Haunting of Ruby Minnie's Inn. We have Chris, Allie, Mina, Jordy. We're all on this small little journey that ties into Curse of Amity Island. Go into a haunted inn. Heavily inspired by The Haunting, Haunted Mansion, Scooby-Doo. Why are the titles of my D&D campaign so long? Because they need to sound like sick games that you want to play. Technically, I did already release the first episode of The Lost Minds of Colossus. I have taken that down for 2 reasons. 1, I was not happy with the edit because it was rushed. Second, it was rushed, so therefore I didn't have the time to make the next episodes timely, and it really sucked. So they're going to come out right after Curse of Amity Island. There might be like a couple week gap while I'm trying to export hundreds of gigabytes, but those will be the adventures coming out after. After these 2 one-shots, there are 2 big adventure campaigns to be considered that we're filming right away at the top of 2024. Number 1, Dante's Peak. And then the second adventure is A Knight's Tale. All these movies and IPs are going to be adapted for D&D Fantasy. They all take place in the same fantasy world at different points along the timeline, from the beginning and the creation of the world to the different ages and eras like the Age of Thunder, the Age of Wrath, the time of Moonlight, the time of Dark Sky, the First Dawn, the Second Dawn. The First Dawn is where the first sunrise took place. The Age of Moonlight is when the first moon appeared, before the sun. This is all cool stuff that you can learn from watching the Lore podcast. Why am I doing this kind of like play structure and world building? Everyone else's D&D show is linear. They all start here and they work forward, and the DM figures out what the backstory and the world building, the lore, in whatever way. In this show, on this channel, most of the time we're working backwards. That way we play the events of history. We experience history, and then you get to watch it in technically three different ways. First, you can watch it the uncut, and so you get to experience how we played it. The other two ways, what I think are amazing and why I would like your support on Patreon. This is a passion project. As a storyteller, I don't see myself as a dungeon master being a storyteller. I am a collaborator. When we build out the history, I am collaborating with my friends and inspiring them with movie ideas to do world building. And kind of like original Conan, taking all these anthology stories and putting them in a linear order so you can see the story. You can do that with Fables of Aeda. You can watch it in the order that it's released, or you can watch it chronologically. Both are different experiences to have, but I guarantee you, if you watch Curse of Amity Island first, and then watch all the prequel adventures across thousands of years of time, eras where there are dragons, not dragons, where there are elves, and where elves are extinct or dying out, and why that's a thing, during different reigns of villains in the world, it changes what's happening in the background that we don't mention in the show. So you watch it, and now it has a new texture. It's kind of like if you watch Downton Abbey and then Peaky Blinders and then realize they're both happening at the same time. Fables of Aeda is going to be the flagship adventure storytelling world on this channel. The intention is to make fairly short adventures, or at least comparatively short, to other actual plays and D&D shows out there. Most, if not all, the adventures are inspired by movie ideas. Dante's Peak, A Knight's Tale, Cocaine Owlbear, Saving Prince Ryan. Please support on Patreon so I can build the minis on a live stream, so that way you can see what's going to happen in Saving Prince Ryan. In the second episode of the Lore podcast, where we're talking about the ocean, we actually talk about some of the cool ideas that are going to happen when we can get to that adventure. With your support, we can get to that adventure way sooner. Other adventures taking place in other worlds will happen, but the bulk of those adventures are going to be backer exclusive. Whether it's my friend's world, whether it's a different game like Alien, Cthulhu, or Egypt's Fire, which is inspired by my friend's new mystery children's novels that are very like Indiana Jones meets Sherlock Holmes for kids. And we ran a one-shot celebrating it. And you can expect us to run even more for backers. At the time of filming this, a lot of the backer exclusive shows are mostly only for YouTube members. And that has a lot to do with moving files over and trying to get them over onto Patreon. That will be solved by 2024. When this channel was first made, I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. I poorly communicated to my fans and fans of Corridor Digital when I came over here and was like, I'm gonna make something cool. I didn't communicate what to expect. Also because I didn't have the means to do anything great that you were looking for. When I started, I didn't own a single camera. I owned a hard drive where all the footage just stayed on, and then I borrowed a laptop. I edited at like 5 frames a second. You wanna see 5 frames a second? This is what my editing was. It was horrible. And I was releasing an episode once a month. That was, and it was barely edited. Now, everything is super edited. You get the uncut. We have battle camps. I own cameras. I own lighting, so we can shoot more often. I still have to do freelance work. I still have to work part-time and do this channel on the side. Absolutely. With your support, that can be changed so that way I can deliver more things to you more often. I think the footage, the storytelling, the coloring, the sound design, the music is on par to what I originally wanted to do. The channel finally got there, and it took a lot of learning lessons, and it took a lot of support from the people who backed this channel, both on day one and still today. I'm planning to make more update videos like this as often as I can. I have the backer exclusive streams, so if you're a backer of the channel, Patreon, or YouTube member, you have access to those streams, so that way you can always get communication from me. Also, I stream weekly, so if you want to check in, I can communicate then too. I've learned a lot building the channel from nothing to where it is. I've learned a lot from working on Son of a Dungeon, working with a small team on what makes the best adventure, what adds the most value to each game, from sound design, music, editing, graphics. What do we as creators want to tell? What do audiences want to feel and see? Sure, I'm not going to be able to do Corridor Digital visual effects, but I can do Corridor Digital or better storytelling. This channel is and has been and always will be me playing D&D with my friends, me sharing my ideas about D&D with you, and hanging out and enjoying the crafting experience that is part of the D&D hobby. I hope you enjoy the adventures to come. I hope you consider supporting the channel to make the adventures faster and better. Please hit the subscribe and like button, and of course, and as always, please make sure you're having fun playing D&D with your friends, and I will see you next time.
Listening to 102.3, where we playeth nothing but chance, and more chance. This are not thine elder matriarchs, Steve.